When we look at what happened to Mondragon in 2008, it's especially telling. When there's a standard corporate division of workers and owners, and there's a recession, the owners are, of course, incentivized to cut the workers to save their own costs. And Spanish unemployment went up to 26%. Mondragon, by slightly reducing the work week while demand was low, and then bringing it back to the full work week when demand picked up again, moving workers from the least profitable cooperatives to the most profitable cooperatives, was able to keep virtually full employment through the biggest recession since the Great Depression. And as we look at some of the difficulties that we've had through COVID, having kinds of forms of relief that were actually working class forms of relief. Of course, in the United States, they tried to do it all through Wall Street. So we saw the stock market hit records while Black unemployment hit 50% at the same time. This is a totally different way of thinking about how to strategize both for the good times and how to be able to work at the ground level really productively when there are challenges and when there are difficulties.
Colin, I couldn't have said it better myself. I think you summed up that it's not just creating good times, a strong economic basis. It's also, as you point out so eloquently, it's also in the bad times, it's not the workers who pay the price. And we live in a dynamic where through COVID, the federal government, the Justin Trudeau government, splurged $750 billion in liquidity supports to Canada's big banks, $750 billion, because their first thoughts were, well, the banks need to be taken care of. We need to maintain bank profits. I mean, it's absurd, but it shows the priority of the government. Now, we know that the people, workers, pay the price. We have governments that massively endow banks and billionaires and big business with massive gifts, including tax gifts that are in the tens of billions of dollars. And what we do when we establish worker ownership, democratic participation, is we insulate communities from the counterpart of that. We lavish money on big business, but the moment big business has a bit of a downturn, their profits go down. Who suffers? Well, it's the workers, it's the communities. And as you point out, in Mondragon, what they did was they insulated that impact and ensured that everybody came through the recession, even with a downturn in sales. That doesn't happen with private enterprise. We need to make sure that workers are actually protected from the work that they do. They are protected even when there are economic recessions. And this is something that is a fundamental advantage of the worker co-op model.